Lyndon, thank you so much for joining me. Obviously, AI is relatively new. Can you talk a little bit about your philosophy and maybe what separates the way that you've approached it from a lot of other non-augmented lawyers out there?
I experimented with a lot of different AI tools, and they could get me further, they could do better, but it wasn't until I came across Eudia that I realized, oh, this is actually a tool that could replace, if not enhance, the functions that I have with the outsourced team. And so I no longer needed to multiply bodies because I could multiply my own capacity and my own productivity. And so I could do the work of 10 outsourced people on my own.
From your perspective, why did you actually decide to join forces and fully merge our companies?
Sure. So this is going to sound conceited, but it is what it is. I've spent most of my career trying to vie for the top position. I went to go and work for one of the top AmLaw 100s. I graduated at the top of my class. I worked in the Fortune 100. And I thought, this was the pinnacle of where it could be. But when I started working with the Eudia technology, I realized there is another level. There is another level beyond that tier if you can become, a 10x lawyer operating at those levels. So part of the answer is because I had experimented with tools, but when I worked with the Eudia's platform, I validated what was possible. And so we found this situation where, a forward-looking 10x lawyer has found a 10x capable technology, and marrying those two things together, I just think we're unbeatable. So the answer is, I found my home.
Love it. Why has it been so challenging? Why hasn't CLM worked? I mean, all these technologies that have existed, which you would think it's a solved problem by now. So why is it still an unsolved problem?
I think Eudia is different because it doesn't try to replace the human or the lawyer function. It enhances it. And I think it's the marriage of the service component with the technology that makes it a differentiator. Mm-hmm. Most managed services deploy the bodies. Most technology companies deploy the technology. Eudia isn't unique in that it has the bodies or the service that's augmented by the technology to accelerate and improve the overall product.
Mm-hmm. And what have been some of the learnings around playbooks and what are we now doing that's different?
Most playbooks and even a lot of the redlining tools operate on binary if-then logic. The Eudia platform seems so intuitive and so intelligent that you can create rules or playbooks that apply if, then, but, and even the how. You can instruct the AI or the playbook in how you want it to respond. And I don't just mean in terms of substance. You can instruct the tone. You can instruct the aggressiveness. You can instruct how you want the comment to appear. And so you can maintain enterprise-level consistency no matter who the user is. And I think that's profound if we're just talking about playbooks.
So we talked a little bit earlier about this concept of an augmented lawyer. You've now had a chance to work very closely with our product engineering team. I'd love to hear a little bit about what that experience was like, and before Eudia, how it worked, and now how it works.
Sure. Working with your team has been night and day because when I have a conversation with them about, it could be done this way, and if it could, we could 10x our productivity because we can get the same output with 10% the effort. And it's not that I just give them feedback and then it goes in triage somewhere and it takes 6 months. They'll come back a day or two later and say, hey, here's a video. Is this what you envisioned? And it's perfect. Or they've built upon the concept and made it even better. So being able to refine and re-engineer the tooling so that I can really bring to life my idea of what a 10x lawyer looks like has been incredible. And I've been able to evolve what I've been able to achieve just in terms of productivity. And frankly, avoiding burnout has been incredible. Not just for me, but for my clients and also for my family. It's been an incredible experience.
Amazing. And maybe we can just bring this to life with one example. You had this sort of incredible niche, really, that was serving a real need in the market around outside counsel management. Can you talk a bit about both what was the pain that product addressed, and then also how, with this combination, we've now been able to really totally change the game there?
The biggest pain point that people are experiencing there is outside counsel rates have got out of hand. There's increasing pressure from boards and shareholders to reduce outside counsel spend. And so I had stepped into the space and found a system that we could deploy that could effectively manage those relationships and get the spend down. But it takes a certain degree of effort and nuance and professional discretion. And I'm capped at how many bodies I can use or how many clients that I can serve in that space. But when I worked with the engineering team to create tools like a comparison tool for a review and redline of outside counsel policies, standing up teams for invoice review at scale so we can enforce those policies, we've been able to 10x the number of businesses that we can support to get that outside counsel spend down, to improve relationships with outside counsel on a 10x basis. So we're able to achieve the same ends, but at a scale that before now has been unachievable.
And maybe last question. When you think about the future, where does it go from here? Where does it go from here? Like, where do you see the world
Sure.
a couple of years from now?
I think that a lot of CLOs and GCs are very curious about AI, but they're hesitant to bet on the wrong horse. Because if they bet on the wrong solution today, well, then when the right one shows up, they may not have the cultural collateral or the capital to invest in the right solution. So there's a lot of hesitation. So I think that we're not yet at an inflection point. We're in the age of experimentation, where CLOs and GCs are experimenting with different tools, and the right experimentation will lead to the age of validation. And as soon as we hit that age of validation, where GCs and CLOs have found the right use case and applied the right tool in the right way, then we are going to experience velocity of business that, in my opinion, hasn't been achieved in human history. And for those who can't operate at that speed or aren't prepared to, they will fall behind. And they will fall behind not just in terms of distance, but in acceleration to a point where they will not be able to catch up. They will fall behind irreversibly. And so the forward-looking businesses and GCs and CLOs that partner with organizations like Eudia, it is going to be a leap forward, and there'll be no looking back.
Amazing. Well, really excited to be on this journey with you. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining.
you.